We are still, I'm sorry, we are still waiting for Ryan. She has a problem with the connection. Yes, she is in now. She is joining. Okay, so she is in. Assalamu alaikum, Ryan. Do you hear us? Okay, I think she's in right now. So, Sister Yasmin, would you please go ahead and start?
Yes, so assalamu alaikum everybody. My name is Yasmin. Thanks for being with us this evening. I'd like to welcome you all to this information session about a new program by the Multicultural Center. For the first half of this meeting, we're going to go through a presentation that will introduce you guys to the Wheels of Change program. Afterwards, we are going to spend some time taking questions. So please, if you have questions or as you feel like you have them, send them in the chat and we will get to them at the end. We will also request questions again when we reach that time. So this is the Wheels of Change. This is a mentorship program by Muslim youth for Muslim youth, and I'm one of the 4 program coaches. But this evening, I'd actually like to highlight with you guys the mentors who are going to be the driving contributors to this program's success. So first, I would like to introduce you to our mentor, Rayan Jaroudi. Rayan is a junior at the University of Houston Clear Lake. She plans to pursue a dual JD/MD, and she speaks Mandarin and loves to travel. Rayan is actually going to walk us through some of the background on how this program was created. And without further ado, I'll turn it over to her.
Ryan, are you still here? Ryan, I think you are muted. Okay, I think we can move on with Hanan, and we'll get back to Ryan when she's available, inshallah.
Okay, great. So in that case, Brother Zamna, would you like to do the mission and vision?
Yeah. So we're gonna let you know our vision and our mission we have in mind for these efforts. We were working on this for few months so far. We'll give you all of the details, all of the background, how this program structure, and how we came up with this. But before we go deep on this, we just want to share our vision and our mission with all of you guys. So our vision for this program is a community of Muslim youth who move through the world with conviction in themselves and their beliefs, assuring that success is always within reach. And for our mission, we'll go deep on these meanings of our mission and our vision with our mentors here. We are committed to fostering the personal growth and well-being of Muslims youth through mentorship that engaged and inspires. And throughout this presentation, you will see how we're going to try to implement this mission and vision we have in mind through this program.
Great. So I would like to introduce you guys to our second mentor, Zaid Latif. He is a sophomore at the University of Houston, where he's enrolled in the Honors College and is active in the government body there. He's an Eagle Scout from Troop 713 and a former Honors College mentor. So what Zaid is going to do is highlight the program objectives and go into detail about the mentors that make this program what it is.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Jazakallah khairan for the introduction, Sister Yasmin. So like Sister Yasmin said, I'm going to talk about some of the objectives of our program. So we have about 4 or 5 main objectives for it. The first one is that we are committing to providing mentors who work to build relationships with mentees by offering guidance, support, and encouragement. And we hope to do this in a fun way and in a fun environment. We also we are committing to encouraging a discussion and reflection that will solidify friendship over times. We want everyone to create a sense of bond and brotherhood and sisterhood through this program. And we hope on doing this by having solid discussions and reflections with each other. We also are committing to provide mentees with new experiences that will inspire curiosity and expand their worldview. All these commitments aim to cultivate positivity within our mentees and healthy development in every aspect of life. Next slide, please. On the slide, we're just highlighting all our mentors here. I'm just one out of our 14 members. All of our members are young adults in the Houston Muslim community and have been proven to be motivated, dependable, and enthusiastic leaders in all of our endeavors that we follow. Each of us were interviewed by the program leadership and underwent a background check. Additionally, we've all been trained and certified by Brother Kaleem Sayed, who is a professional career consultant. And lastly, as mentors, we're also receiving help from our leadership team, which includes the program director, Brother Tamer, and our 4 coaches, Brother Yunus, Sister Lena, Dr. Shalabi, and Sister Yasmin. Needless to say, we're all well equipped to change the future for our youth.
Thank you, Zaid. We appreciate that background info and clarifying the objectives and introducing us to the mentors. Our next mentor is Ibrahim Islam, who is a senior at Clearbrook High School and is an avid runner. He's also an Eagle Scout and says he's a product of the Muslim community here in Southeast Houston, whether that be Iman Academy, Quba, or the Boy Scouts. Ibrahim will be introducing you all to the Wheel of Change.
Right, yeah, so I'm gonna get more into what is the Wheels of Change. So I'm gonna go through these 4 steps with you. So first of all is the enrollment. So during the registration process for this program, both the parent and the child will complete a questionnaire. And this is really important because we need to be able to match you with a mentor that's compatible with you. And so we encourage you to put actually spend time on these survey questions, because the more time you put into it, the better we're going to be able to match you with the best of the 14 mentors that goes with you. And so if your mentee or if your child is into video games or sports or something, it's important to note that, because then we can match them with a group of people and a mentor that know them well or that can bond with them well. Also, there is a $125 fee during registration, but it's important to note that this fee exists only to cover the program expenses, including training the mentors. And we think that this structure ensures that the mentors are vested and held accountable in the work that they do. So Wheels of Change does not and will not generate any revenue. We believe the value of the Wheels of Change is rooted solely in the positive and lasting impact of our youth. And if you're having issues with the $125 registration fee, know we are committed to accommodating anyone regardless of financial status. And if you want more information about that, contact mccwheelsofchange@gmail.com. And also, we have a 5-to-1 maximum mentee-mentor ratio. So that means we will operate on a maximum of 5 mentees assigned to each mentor. This is to make sure that each mentee gets the attention that they need from the mentor to properly grow and connect. Okay, now step 2 is to show up. There will be one event from Wheels of Change every week, one programming, whether that means a sports day or an outing, for a total of 12 sessions. Each meeting is 1.5 to 3 hours in length, and we're going to review this more in the calendar. It's important to show up consistently, because we think that this consistency will foster the relationships between the mentors and the mentees. The calendars kind of revolved around the 2 age groups, the first age group being the 6th to 8th grade, and the upper age group being the 9th to 10th grade. Though Wheels of Change is about one-to-one in small group relationships, there will be some occasions where the events will have everyone from the same age group participate together, for example, like a camp or an overnight activity. So step number 3 is connect. And this really is the foundation. This is why we're doing this. The connection is the crux of this program. And because research has shown again and again that your friends and your mentors make or break you. They enable you for success or they enable you for failure. So this is this is why we're investing all this energy. And so we hope that in the connection, in the activities, we're going to be able to foster friendship between the mentees and between the mentees and their mentor, so that there's a personal connection that will continue to last. They'll have a place to ask their questions, whether it be career related or Islamic. And hopefully, as the relationships strengthen, the mentees have a support structure that they can rely on because we all need it. Step number 4 is grow. And it's, as we know from COVID, that isolation is not good for us, and having good relationships contributes to healthier development in general. And again, having a Muslim mentee and having a Muslim mentor and fellow mentees obviously is going to give you a place where you feel good about being a Muslim, where you can pray with other people, and you will have a stronger sense of community and a stronger conviction in your beliefs. And obviously, we know it's better for mental health to have friends that you always go out with. And we hope the cycle will continue. And Wheels of Change, we hope, is not just a one semester thing, but it will continue beyond. And these mentee and mentor relationships will not end with just that. And that's Wheels of Change.
Thanks, Ibrahim, for shedding light on that. Next, I would like to introduce you all to our mentor, Hanan Abdel Jalil. She is a junior at the University of Houston and is pursuing a career in healthcare. Hanan loves spoken word and volunteering in the community, and she's going to walk us through the plans for the semester ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. As Yasmin stated, my name is Hanan. I'm so happy to be with you guys today. And I first off want to start by thanking everyone who made this Q&A session possible, as well as, the program in general. So I'm going to go ahead and walk you guys through what the schedule is going to look like. This is kind of like just a general broad sense of what it's supposed to look like. As you can see, the program is going to run January through April. Just to highlight some important dates for you guys to keep in mind is January 21st, which is when the enrollment period is going to end, as well as January 24th. That is where we're going to have like an orientation and a welcome session. And then April 11th, which is going to be the closing session with some awards and certificates and that type of stuff. Usually our meetings are going to last, minimum an hour and a half and maximum 3 hours, so 1.5 to 3 hours, except whenever, for example, it's a camp, it's going to be an overnight thing. It won't just be a couple of hours where we're hanging out with each other. Depending on, the mentees that the mentors get assigned and, depending on their interests, the location of these groups where we meet up and all of that is going to vary. Now going into a little bit more detail about some of the terms that you see on this slide. So for example, an outing essentially refers to a meeting where we're going to have discussions. A lot of these discussions are going to emphasize introspection and, they're going to require, they may possibly require a small separate fee, but that's pretty much that for outings. For activities, again, it really comes down to the interests of your children. Our mentees, we really want to foster and really, help them develop their skills. So it really just depends on, their interests, and essentially it's experience-based. They can try hands-on things, they can try something new. That's for activities. And then for sports day, essentially that's kind of self-explanatory. It's going to be a physical wellness. We're just going to be focusing on physical wellness that day. And then we look into camps, which is something that's going to be overnight. you know, activities from Aisha to Fajr prayer, that type of stuff, as well as a service project. So I really love, you know, getting involved in the community and really pushing our young youth to take part in the community, because essentially, you know, we are the face of Islam in our community, and I think that we should represent it very well. So to get our youth, you know, from a young age involved in, you know, community service, I mean, MCC on its own, you know, holds its own volunteer opportunities that are amazing. And, you know, I started an organization at University of Houston, and it's pre-health. So, you know, if your children are interested in something like that, I would love to, you know, take on the responsibility and maybe take them to one of our events that we have in our organization. Next slide, please. So essentially this highlights, you know, the COVID-19 precautions. As we know, we're in the middle of a pandemic, so we really have to be cautious with our activities. So, you know, just to give you an idea, definitely there's going to be social distancing, and face coverings are going to be required both indoors and outdoors. Meetings are going to be held in well-ventilated spaces. You know, everything is going to go in accordance to CDC guidelines. Now, you know, we're going to try our best to have most of our outings, you know, outdoors. You know, if indoors, we're definitely going to keep our distance, and even outdoors, we'll make sure that, you know, your children are safe before we even are. Again, face coverings, and, you know, at minimum, meetings are going to be held in well-ventilated spaces. You know, anyone who is experiencing COVID-19 symptoms, you know, including but not limited to fever and cough, is definitely going to have to stay home. So we're definitely going to keep an eye out for things like that. Anyone who has tested positive for COVID or has been in direct contact with someone who has, you know, will definitely have to stay home as well. So we're really definitely going to keep an eye out on things like that, you know, to ensure that, you know, our mentees and mentors and everyone is safe.
Thanks, Hanan. So for reference, we'll have the calendar will always be available on our website at youth.multiculturalcenter.net/calendar. And you'll be able to refer to that throughout the semester for the latest dates. Next, I would like to introduce you guys to our mentor, Dean LeBlanc, who is a current sophomore at Lee College. He loves sports and is a youth basketball trainer.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello, I'm Dean LeBlanc, as she said, and I'll talk about the trial period. And so the first session would be the trial period for your kid or your kids. And basically, if they don't like it, or if they're not enjoying it, if they're not feeling it, if they don't want to come back, they don't have to. And with that, you will get a full refund of your money that you paid. And next, there's an orientation session, which is on Sunday, January 24th at 1 p.m. via Zoom. And with the orientation session, first, it'll be the group session, which everyone's involved in, and just going over the opening of it and introducing everybody and getting to know everybody. And then after that, we'll break out into the mentor and mentee group sessions, which are in different Zoom rooms where the mentor can talk to the mentees and the mentees can talk to the mentors in their own group. And that'll be on the 24th. And the enrollment time, we ask you to enroll starting now until January 21st, which is Thursday. And that way, because if you give us until the 21st, then from the 21st to the 24th, we can make the groups and assign mentees to mentors, and it'll go a lot smoother come the 24th. And you can enroll at youth.multiculturalcenter.net.
Thanks, Dean. So before I want to take you guys through this website and show you what the registration process looks like, I'm actually going to pivot back to Rayan and allow her to introduce herself. She was just having some technical difficulties at the beginning of this presentation. Rayan, whenever you're ready.
Hi, assalamu alaikum everyone. So nice to meet all of y'all. I'm sorry for the technical difficulties in the beginning, but alhamdulillah, I'm here now. But first, I want to thank all of y'all for coming, and I'm so happy that all of y'all were able to make it. So my name is Rayan. I'm a junior right now at UHCL, and I kind of just want to share with y'all what brought me to this program and why I really wanted to be a mentor. So when I was in high school was when I had my first experience with a mentor, and I honestly wasn't like the most confident when I was in high school. I would have issues with my friends. I had like self-esteem issues. And I can like say confidently after meeting with my mentor day by day and eventually throughout the months and even after a year, I became so much more confident. I became so much more independent. I love to learn. I became a hustler. And honestly, it changed who I am today. It changed how I act. It changed the values that how I embody my values, and overall just changed the overall characteristic of who I am today. So because of that, and because of how it changed me, I really would love to do the same for your children, and to also make a difference similar to that. You know, because it honestly, I mean, y'all can like see, I'm just a lot different. You know, so hopefully, you know, I'm able to like meet your kids and we can make a similar change. And
Thank you for sharing, Rayan, your compelling story. It's always so empowering to hear about like the real impacts a single person can make on our lives. And that's what we aim to do with this Wheels of Change program. So now I would actually like to walk you guys very briefly through our website. And just okay, so our domain is youth.multiculturalcenter.net. And once you're on the site, the homepage looks like this. Registration is actually on the top bar over here, and also log in after you've created your account the first time around. If you were to scroll down, and you can kind of like read more information about the program, specifics that kind of describe the wheel of change that Ibrahim went through earlier. And we have the vision listed. We also have a section here where you can meet our mentors and read about the qualifications and interests of the 14 mentors who are committed to this program. At the very bottom, we have a section for upcoming events. This will always display the 3 upcoming, most recent upcoming events. So as you can see, today is the Q&A. Next Sunday will be the launch with the program orientation, and then the 31st, the first outing as described by Hanan. Now, scrolling back to the top, I'd like to take you guys through the registration process. Ibrahim went into a little bit of detail about this before, but registration is fairly simple. We'll just need the parents' information about your child's. And now the most important part is this brief, 5-question survey, and this will allow us to best match your child to a mentor who has the same interests or the same experiences, allowing them to really form strong emotional bonds that will empower the relationship. And so we ask that you do take your time filling these questions out. After the parent completes, and there's also the option to request a fee waiver at the bottom of this page, so you can do that through there or through the email address that was detailed before. Once this form has been submitted, we will then email a similar survey form to your child and ask them to complete the same kinds of questions, but from their perspective. And as we mentioned before, this is going to allow us to really best match our mentors and mentees and set them up for success. Okay, so that actually concludes the presentation section of our introduction. We would like to start fielding questions now. So if you'd like to submit them in the chat, we will be happy to answer those. Let's see. So we had a question that Brother Tamir answered briefly regarding if all groups have the same schedule. For the most part, groups will be following. Let me just tap back over to the calendar. So for the most part, these are the meeting dates throughout the semester. However, individual groups may decide to meet outside of those dates once a week. Maybe they want to go to like a basketball game that's happening on a Saturday night instead of a Sunday. So those will be decisions that are made in the small groups, and the group's mentor will always update parents, with enough time to make those plans.
Yeah, Yasmin, I wanted to add on to that as well. So it may be like the same like primary focus that we're kind of shooting for in terms like an outing or something, like the the content of the discussions might be the same, but the way we deliver those activities might be different. So for boys, maybe, you know, they want to teach them a lesson about, for example, you know, how to treat their parents. And maybe, you know, boys might learn it one way and young girls might learn it the other. So it's the same concept, but in terms of how we're going to implement our lesson, for example, it's going to be using like different activities, just to clarify.
Beautifully said, Hanan. Thank you. Any other questions?
We have two in the chat. Sister Yasmin,
Let's see. Okay, let me-
can this be for kids over than 10 years old? So yes, so we're having this for starting from 6th graders all the way to the 10th graders. So any boy or girl within this age, they are eligible to register for the program. So it's 6th graders to 10th graders, 10th graders, boys and girls. Did I answer this question?
Can this be for older than like 11 grades?
So this is our starting. This is our first season. So definitely we will expand, but we are trying on this model to provide it for the middle school and younger age of the high schoolers. But definitely we see need, we see this program or this mentorship is really important for our kids. We see this is a room for growth for our younger youth. So definitely we are gonna assess that at the end of this semester, and we will be providing more range of age, or maybe for young professional with a college. So this is going to be for future expansion, but for this semester, this spring semester, starting from next week all the way till April, will be only for 6th graders to 12th graders. We are going to have an opportunity open for anyone who is willing to be a mentor. So we worked with these mentors for a few months. We interviewed them, we make a background check, we train them, we certified them. So we worked hard, they worked hard, they have the energy to give back to the community. So, and I think we're gonna have another opportunity for more mentors to get into the program and get trained and get ready to give back to the community, so they can grow themselves and they also help others to grow. So inshallah, definitely we'll have this in future.
Next, another question we received, will female mentees be assigned to female mentors? Lena, I'll field you that question.
Sure. Hi, my name is Lena Habazi. To answer that question, yes, we do have female mentors and male mentors, and we'll try our best to group them together. And we also have female coaches like myself and Sister Yasmin, as well as brother mentors or brother coaches who will just be here to support the mentors in whatever struggles that come up while supporting these mentees. So we have a variety of participants and coaches that it'll make a great setup for everyone.
Thank you, Lena.
Yeah,
Any other questions?
Yeah, we have a question here about the friends and groups. I understand this. That's why we asking everyone to be a part of this register as soon as you want. So by January 21st or January, yes, 21st, we're gonna check all of the questions, your answer. We will pair you with matched mentors and matched friends. And if you have any additional requests, you wanna be with certain group, let us know. We are gonna do our best. So the bottom line of what we are doing is make this environment healthy and fun for the kids. So if they feel comfortable being around certain friends, definitely you are gonna accommodate that. We'll do our best to assign all of the friends together to a certain mentor. I can't guarantee that 100%, but we are doing our best to accommodate that. Want everyone to be convenient and having fun. So we'll do that, inshallah, and hopefully we'll satisfy all of the needs for everyone. but during the registration, you are not gonna be asked if you're gonna assign to certain mentors or gonna be with certain group. But in the question, just let us know, and we will address it, inshallah.
Yeah, could I add one thing? So I think like the survey questions kind of prompt you to say all your interests. It'll prompt you and your child. So if your child and your child's friend both have very similar interests, which is likely because they're friends, they're going to be matched anyways. And there's also an additional info question where you can express any of those, like, oh, I want to be with this person or whatever.
I would like to add that we don't want anyone to shy away from participating in this program because maybe they aren't friends with the people who are already here. I think a lot of the times in Muslim spaces, we have the same in-group of kids who participate in Scouts, who participate in the youth halaqas and things like that. And we really want this program not to be exclusionary in that way. You know, we're asking these questions during the introductory survey so that we can put people together who have similar interests and we know will be cohesive. And that's when the coaches are providing guidance to the mentors in order to make sure that these relationships are allowed to form and bond. And it'll also expose like your children to, you know, a different friend group, inshallah. That's our intention with that. And really maybe the person who would benefit most from this program particularly is somebody who's already not in those spaces, because it's going to provide them a support structure that they don't already have access to. Any other questions?
We have a question here ask about the 11th grade. So 11th grade as mentees is not this semester. We're gonna look at this inshallah in next semester, but for this semester, we accommodate up to 10th grade.
Okay.
Would any of the mentors who are currently on this call like to share anything additional? Maybe the reason why you decided to participate in this program. I know we heard from Ryan, if somebody else would like to share as well.
I will absolutely hop in. Give me all the attention. So the reason why I'm really happy about taking part in this program is because I think that, I mean, as parents, whoever, like the parents that are attending right now, I think you can control your children and really engrave in them values at home. But when outside, I feel like their friend group, whether it's in high school or college, I know this program is not for college students, but it really goes a long way. The people that they choose to surround themselves with from a very young age will impact how they act and how they grow. Now that may be positive or negative, but inshallah, you know, we pray that it's positive. I mean, I was born and raised in the United States, but I studied abroad in Egypt for 4 years. I mean, living in Egypt is something different than living in the States. The culture is different. You're really taught what's actually right and what's actually wrong, you know, overseas. And I think that was a blessing. And that's why I like to implement it here in my community, because it's very hard sticking to your identity, especially in a place that promotes so much conformity. Almost everything around our children and around me is really forcing us to change, but it's the values that we engrave in ourselves from a very young age is what determines, you know, how we go along towards, you know, college and high school. And I mean, you engrave in your children values from a very young age. It helps them when you're not there. And that's the ultimate goal. When parents are not there, you know, will they respect your absence, you know, and fear Allah first, and then, you know, parents kind of come next. So I came back and I lived in the United States and I started high school as a freshman. And I mean, for 4 years of my life, I was in Egypt. Wearing a hijab was pretty normal, you know, being conservative was normal. But here I felt that I was different, and I didn't know if my difference was a good thing. I shied away a lot and I wasn't that social until actually one of our mentors here, their sister was the person that I sought help from. So this world is kind of very small. And, you know, she gave me advice and I would ask her, you know, how should I act in such a situation? And I think having such a support system, I guess, at least early in high school, really helped develop my character and develop understanding of my self-worth and to accept myself. And I feel like that, I'm at this point in my life where I'm ready to share my experiences with other young girls. And as they said, female mentors are for female mentees. So I'm really hoping to teach them self-love and to not conform and to preserve their identity as both a Muslim and a proud American citizen who takes part, in their communities and all of that. Again, being Muslim while also being American is something that's absolutely acceptable and fine. But I think having a mentor there was one of the main reasons, for my success to be where I am today. And I really hope that I can provide that to your young girls, inshallah.
Thank you so much, Hanan. That was beautifully said. And I just want to add to that, that shared experience is so vital to understanding what somebody is going through. And that's what we aim to provide here. All of our mentors are young adults who grew up, a lot of them first generation American and had to figure out and deal with those struggles themselves. And they're here to pass that on so that your child doesn't have to struggle as much as they did, doesn't have to go through the same things. And so that's what we're here to do, inshallah, with the Wheels of Change. We had a question earlier that I think we missed, asking, let's look back up, if we need more mentors. So actually we are all booked up for this semester, but we've had some requests, and future semesters we will have an application on our website. So stay tuned for that, inshallah. Okay, so if we don't have, I'll give you guys maybe a few more minutes if anyone would like to ask any additional questions or need clarification on anything that was discussed in the presentation. As a reminder, our launch date is next Sunday, so 1 week from today. So we do ask that you please register as soon as possible so that we have the opportunity to make those matches to best match, your child with a mentor.
We have a question here, Sister Yasmin, if you read it from Sister Rubina.
How many mentees will be assigned to mentors? Let me turn that over to Ibrahim. Can you answer that for us?
Yeah, so basically the maximum amount of mentees per mentor is going to be 5. So 1 mentor to a maximum of 5 mentees. And the reason why that's super important is so that each person gets their own individualized attention. They won't feel like they're lost in a crowd. And it could be a really close-knit group. It's not going to be too loose or too many people where not everyone's going to know everyone's name. We really want everyone to know everyone's name. And yeah, the can be like that way.
Thanks, Ibrahim. To add to that, the weekly meetings are going to be in those small groups. So it will, for the most part, most of our weekly meetings will be the small groups. But as Hanan discussed before, activities like the overnight camp or maybe sports day, those might be several groups meeting together at the same time. But most of the meetings, the aim of them is to kind of inspire that the connection that we feel like will be best fostered in a small group setting. Any additional questions?
We have one in the chat.
Can you read it, Brother Tamer? I don't see it.
What materials are discussed in the small sessions? So what kind of discussions mentors will have with the mentee? So we may refer Brother Yunus to answer this. Brother Yunus Latif.
Yes, so I think if you can go back to the program calendar, if you can, so yeah, you can see that in the various sessions that will be covering very different aspects in terms of a lot of fun, in terms of, and so I think the themes, Brother Tamer, can you just remind me of the themes, the themes of?
Yeah. So for the outing, outing is going to be the small group discussion. So this is a time when the mentors will create the bond and relationship and friendship with the mentees and mentees with them. So it's about discussion. It's about asking some questions, know each other better. And the 2 topics we agreed to to emphasize or to discuss during the meeting is going to be, one of them is going to be a relation with the parents. So any issues with the parents. So we are not going to do this as a lecture from the mentor to the mentees, but our mentors are trained to just ask some questions and let the mentees talk, open up for them, and discuss the challenges they have with their parents. And through these discussions, the question and answer, the mentors will give them the message and from the experience they had, and how to solve the problem with the parents, and show them how the parents see the problems from their perspective. So this is one of the topics they're going to be covered on the outing. But any topic we would like to discuss with mentees, we are not going to make it as a direct discussion or as a lecture. So it's going to be through some questions. They are eating together, talking together, walking together, and they are creating the bonds, and the mentor will give them the message and the guide and the support. And one thing is just understand their challenge and telling them, yes, I had the same challenge in your age, and here what I learned when I grow up, and that's what we want our mentors to do for the mentees.
So yeah, if I can add a few things,
yeah, sure.
Jazakallah for clarifying. I think some of the things that, if you think about some of the challenges that your child may face as he or she goes through school, in terms of peer pressure, dealing with challenges with the amount of workload that they may be experiencing, challenges with just being able to fit in their school, being able to fit in, as well as in terms of now in the pandemic that we're in terms of how to handle online schooling and so forth. So there's a number of challenges that your child is going through, and obviously we want them to go to you as parents, but then they would like to probably talk to others that have been through some of these challenges, like our mentors, and that could give them a different perspective as well, and give them a positive role model in being able to handle or address some of these challenges that they face. So I think the first key component is obviously to build the bonds, as Brother Tamer mentioned, to build the relationship, make it in a fun environment. And then as your child gets more comfortable, they may raise other issues, and they'll hear other issues within a group setting. And so they'll feel more comfortable sharing some of the challenges. And then the group can come together and help each other out in solving those challenges that they may be facing.
Yeah, just to add a little, so there's no like set curriculum, and it's part of like the job of being a mentor, where you connect with your mentees on a level where you can kind of sense their problems, and you can address them as they come up. And you have to like kind of be there and supportive enough to where they're willing to explain their problems to you. So it's not like there's like a set curriculum necessarily, although there's a few topics we're probably going to discuss.
We had a question about where the overnight camps will be. So most of activities, because this is a project based at the Multicultural Center in Webster, Texas, most activities will probably be in the Clear Lake area. The sleepovers or the camps in particular will most likely be kind of at either MCC or one of the local masajids, somewhere that we know, we're comfortable with the security. And of course, we'll have like adults who are present overnight to facilitate looking over everybody.
Just to add on to that, we know that this is all going to be during schooling, so we don't want this just to be another obligation for the parents. We really want the parents to be happy that, they're taking their children to, an MCC Wheels of Change event. So we're definitely going to keep in mind when we schedule, these activities and whatnot, that they have to prioritize school and their homework and all of that. So it definitely won't get in the way, and we'll accommodate as much as we can.
A last call for questions. Okay.
So is
You can-
the
Go
I'm so
ahead.
sorry. Assalamu alaikum. This was
Alaikum.
fantastic. Is your first Zoom session on January 24th for parents and students, like once we've registered, or we'll get more information once we register?
So that's correct. It'll consist of two parts. So the first part will be more of a general session to provide everybody with the information that they'll need going forward about the semester. It'll be kind of like an in-depth look of expectations of mentors, expectations of mentees, and expectations from parents. Then after kind of that general session, we'll break out into separate rooms via Zoom and have the mentors meet the mentees. And that will just be the students themselves meeting their mentors and interacting and getting starting to get to know one another and planning actually the first activity that will be in person on the 31st. Any other questions?
Assalamu alaikum. So excited about this program. I was wondering for the emails, I know on the registration you asked for the child's email as well. Are the communication going to go, because I don't think he's that great at checking his email. Will they also go to the parents as well to remind us what next needs to be done or whatever?
Great question. So yes, definitely. Emails will be circulated to both. The reason why we ask for the child's email address is so that they can create their own account. They'll have access to a portal that will contain like relevant information throughout the semester. And then as well as depending on the mentor, they may create a group chat for all of the mentees and their parents where information might be able to be delivered more quickly and make sure that everybody sees it. But yes, definitely parents will always receive the communication via email as well. But I would just say follow up on that first day of orientation. You'll kind of, after your child meets their mentor, they'll be able to provide more detailed information on how they will choose to communicate with you over the course of the semester.
Jazakallah khair, thank you.
Yeah.
Yasmin, just one quick question.
Yes.
Is this program limited only to students or young people from this area, or if there's someone lives like in the Sugarland area, can they participate as well?
That's a great question. So the easy answer is no, it's not limited. The only thing will have to be kept in mind is travel will often have to take place for that. If that, the example you use somebody in Sugarland, they'll have to come down to the Clear Lake area for a lot of the meetings. But in short, no, we definitely want to open this up to anybody who's interested. So long as they're able to make those travel or in transportation arrangements, that shouldn't be a problem at all.
Okay. And the meetings they'll be on the weekends, that they're not going to be during the week at any time.
Yeah, so there might be the small group may agree to meet at a different time, but for the most part, it'll always be like what the majority decision of the small group. Right now, most of the meetings are scheduled for Sundays, with the exceptions of like the overnight camp and movie nights. And so for the most part, that schedule should still stand, but there may be changes here and there.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So if anybody thinks of any questions later on, you can always email us at mccwheelsofchange@gmail.com, and I will actually put the screen up on the screen. So yeah, mccwheelsofchange@gmail.com, and we'll get back to you, within a few hours, within like 24 hours or so.
Yeah, I will put it on the chat as well. So
perfect.
The email address.
Okay, so I just want to briefly go through, we didn't hear from all of our staff or leadership. Brother Kaleem Sayed is he's actually like a professional career consultant, and he's the one who certified and trained all of our mentors. So he's part of the team. We also had Sister Lena, who's one of the coaches, Sister Eunice, who is another coach, myself.
Brother Eunice.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Brother Eunice, and Dr. Shalabi. And so all of the coaches, the leadership team are heavily involved in the youth community. And so I think that we're all really excited to be here and help guide the mentors throughout this process. Brother Tamer, if you'd like to close out, if we have no additional questions.
Yes, I just want to leave you with this. So we are believing in what we are doing. We may just initiate that, but every work done by the youth. So what we did is just give them the opportunity to meet and talk and create this program. So everything you see, website, logo, activities, everything designed, run by youth for the youth. So as an adult, we did not do anything. We just give them the opportunity. Here is the platform, and what do you want to do for the community? So everything here is by the youth. They came up with this idea after several brainstorming sessions, and they decided to do that. That's what they want to do, and they are working hard to do. They agree on the training. They spend a lot of hours just to be trained and certified, and you cannot imagine the energy they have and the responsibilities they are feeling towards the younger generation right now. So they feel a responsibility towards them. They want to give back to them. They want to give everything they learn. The mentors we have, I consider them the elite, or some of the elite in our community. They are really wonderful, good role model for our kids. So, and they are putting efforts, and they are willing to share all of their experience and support and give back to the community. So believing in this, designed by youth, for the youth, very local, everything here, we did not hire anyone or everything done. Ibrahim Islam did everything on the website. You'll see is amazing work, logo design, activities design, everything done by them. So we are inviting all of you to be part of these efforts, either as a parent or as a coach or as an advisor or anything. So we are open for any feedback, any ideas. You want to be a coach, please join with us. If you want to be your kid to be a mentor, inshallah, we'll have an opportunity for the upcoming season. So I'm just saying where the youth are putting huge efforts here on this, and they really believe on what they are doing. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it successful. We make all of this for the sake of Allah and for the Muslim Ummah. And we expect, or we think, this is going to be a good step towards making a strong Muslim Ummah. So may Allah bless these efforts. Appreciate your time and your efforts to join us. And if you believe in our mission and our vision, please be part of this by any way you can. جزاكم الله خيرا for your time. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم.
We just have one more, Brother Samad, one more comment Brother Kaleem would like to share.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum. And thank you very much for giving me about 1 minute. I tell you, with the interaction that I had with the mentors, that was a fantastic and wonderful group of students. And I tell you, I have given one charge and one challenge to these young boys and girls. That is, I said, make this a benchmark program for the United States, so that the other communities who are looking to start a mentoring program, they can come to us, and then we can help them start the mentoring program. And I've lived in different communities in the United States, but I've never seen such an energized group of people and willing to learn and so responsible. So kudos to you, all the coaches, and really and truly congratulations to the parents as well. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khairan, Brother Kaleem. Thank you, everyone. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.